of this determinant? By finding the minors and cofactors. No, what you see is that this row and this row are the same, right? Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
That means I can directly write the value of this to be 0. Understood?
Sir.
Similarly, if I have this determinant, then how will you find out the value of this determinant? You see that first column and the third column, they are identical, right? That means the value of this determinant will be 0. Okay. Fourth property. You understood this property?
Yes,
I
sir.
can move on.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Very important property, this one. If all the elements of a row or column, if all the elements of a row or column in a determinant are multiplied by a scalar. Scalar means any number. Are multiplied by a scalar, then the determinant itself is multiplied by that scalar.
Yes, sir.
By that scalar. Now, what does this
Sir,
property
can you
mean?
explain once more this one?
This property 4.
The fourth. Yes, sir.
Property 4. I'm coming to the explanation. I'll give you example. Example.
Okay, sir.
Let us say that I have a determinant like this. 4, 8, 16, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 3, 8, 2. Okay. What you see is the first row. Do you see this first row? In the first row, you have what is the common multiple of all the elements? 4, and this is what? 4 into 2, and this is what? 4 into 4?
Yes, sir.
2,
Yes, sir.
3, minus 1, and minus 3, 8, 2. These two rows remain as they are. If you see, the LCM of 4, 8, and 16 is what? 4, right?
Yes, sir.
In fact, not the LCM, in fact, the
Yes, sir.
HCF. The HCF. HCF of 4, 8, and 16 is 4, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Then this 4 can be taken out of the determinant. That is, in the entire determinant can be multiplied by, in fact, you can write this as 4 into 1. So this becomes 1, 2, 4, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 3, 8, 2. Now is the property clear?
No, sir. Sir, can you explain once?
See, in the first row, what is the HCF of 4, 8, and 16? It is 4,
4.
right?
Yes,
So
sir.
if you see, all the elements of first row are multiplied by 4, right? That means this
Yes.
4 can be taken out of the first row and can be multiplied by the entire
Yes.
determinant. Understood?
Okay, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Let me give you another example.
Yes, sir.
I'll be doing some that will be further clear, but try to understand as much as possible right now. Suppose I have this one. Understood? Now, if you see from the first row, I can take a -1 out, right? See, the first row is what?
Yes, sir.
-1 into 1. Try to understand this way. Later on, we'll do the normal way. Okay, we'll do directly next time. Try to understand this way. And this one is -1 into 2. And this one is -1 into 4. Okay. Now
Yes, sir.
what can I do? I can take this -1 out, right?
Yes.
So I can minus sign I can take out. I'll simply get 1, 2,
Okay, sir.
4, 2, 3, -1, -3, 7, 1. Okay. What else? Now suppose I want to take minus out from the first column. So what I do is I write minus. 1 can be written as -1 into -1. 2 can be written as -1
Minus
into
1 minus
-2.
2
And this can be written as -1 into 3.
minus 1 into 3.
2, 3, 7, 4, -1, 1. Now what happens? I already have a negative sign outside, right? Now again, if I'm taking a negative sign -1 outside, this becomes a plus. -1, -2, 3, 2, 3, 7, 4, -1, 1. You understood this property?
Yes, sir.
That means you can take out any
Sir, again,
multiple.
we have taken minus.
Which one? Which minus? The one that
Sir,
I have circled.
sir, we have taken out. Sir, -1 we have taken out from the matrix, from the
Hmm.
determinants, and
Hmm.
then again we have -1 into -1.
Yes, because -1 I had taken out from the first row, right? Earlier.
Yes, sir.
This time I have
Yes, sir.
taken out -1 from the first column.
Yes, sir.
That is why they combine to become a plus. Understood? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Let's take another example.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Let's take 8 -16, 24. This. Okay. Now, what do you see in the first column? This column, what do you see? What is the HCF?
Yes, sir.
What is
8,
the HCF? HCF
82.
is 8, right?
Yes, sir.
But I
Yes,
take
sir.
-8 out. Instead of 8, I take -8 out. Then what happens? This 8 at the top will become
Will become
-1.
-1.
This will become
Yes, sir.
2. And this will become -3.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
-4.
So I
3.
think
Yes,
now
sir.
the property must be clear. The other two columns we write as it is. So this can be done to any row or any column. Okay. Understood?
Okay,
It
sir.
can be done to any row or any column.
Yes, sir.
Let us
Okay,
look
sir.
at the next property. This is your property number 5. Property 5. Any determinant can be expressed as a sum of two or more determinants. Okay. Now, what does this property mean? Example.
Yes, sir.
Now, this is a quite a straightforward property. Okay. Suppose if I have a determinant like this, okay, then this is one determinant. This determinant can be split into three determinants. How? You have a first determinant whose first column is X, L, and P. That is this element, and this element. And the other two remain the same. A1, B1, C1, A2, B2, C2. Okay, this plus. Then again you have in the first column Y, M, and Q. Y, M, Q. A1, B1, C1. And the next one is one Z and W. And the other two remain the same. A1, B1, C1, A2, B2, C2. Understood? Single determinant being split into three determinants. Is it clear? So even if you have, say, x plus y plus z plus something, you can split it into four determinants. But remember, these have to be same. There are three here.
Yes,
This
sir.
also has to be three. Okay. This also has to be three in order to split into three determinants. Okay. Clear?
Sir, all the circle one has to be 3.
No, if you are splitting into three determinants, I have split into
Hello.
three determinants, then these must be three. Understood? If
Yeah,
there are,
okay,
say,
sir.
four, x plus y plus z plus
Okay,
something
sir.
else, x plus y plus z plus alpha. Okay, if there are four
Yes,
here,
sir.
suppose there is an alpha here, and there's a beta here, and there's a, say, a gamma here, then you can split this into four determinants, which is alpha, beta, gamma, and you have
Okay,
A1,
sir.
B1, C1, A2, B2, C2. Understood? So here we had four.
Yes, sir.
That is why we split up into four determinants. Okay. So this is
Okay,
quite
sir.
a straightforward property. And the most important property,
Okay, sir.
the very important property that we are going to use. Do we have time to discuss, or maybe I'll just write and discuss it later, because after I have a class also. Tomorrow I can discuss this in detail. Property 6. The value of a determinant remains unchanged the value of a determinant remains unchanged if we add A scalar multiple of any row or column. Remember this or, okay? Or is very important. If we add a scalar multiple of any row or column
Yes, sir.
to any parallel row or column. Column. Okay. I'll just give you a brief example for this. Okay. Then I will discuss this more examples tomorrow. Let us say I have and let us say I have this determinant. Okay. Understood? Now, this determinant states, this property states that the value of a determinant remains unchanged if we add any the scalar multiple of any row. Now, what do you mean by scalar multiple of any row? See, what I see here is that I have a 1 here, I have a 2 here, and I have a 4 here, right? Isn't
Yes.
it? What I see is that if I
Yes, sir.
multiply this by 2, and if I multiply this by 2, and if I multiply this by 2, okay, then what does it become? I cannot multiply without altering the value of the determinant, right? So I multiply it in my mind. Understood? You understood? I
Yes, sir.
multiply it in my mind. I don't write. I just multiply it in my mind. Okay. When I multiply, what I see is that this is becoming 2, is becoming 4, and this is becoming 8. Okay. Understood?
Okay, sir.
Now what I do is
Yes, sir.
I subtract this row from this row. Understood? I subtract this row from this row. When subtracting, what I mean is that I'm actually not I'm not multiplying by 2. In fact, I'm multiplying by minus 2. Understood?
Yes, sir.
And then adding. Understood? If I multiply this by minus 2, what will I get? I'll get minus 2, 2, I'll get minus 4, and I'll get minus 8. Right? Let us understand it this way then.
Yes, sir.
Multiplying by minus 2 only. In my mind, what I do is I multiply I multiply the first row by minus 2. Okay. I multiply the first row
Yes, sir.
by minus 2. And what do I get? I get minus 2.
Yes.
This is all I'm doing in my mind. I'm not writing anywhere. This is minus 8.
Yes.
Now what I do is I add each element of this row to this row. Okay. So what do I get?
Okay, sir.
This row I will not change. Although I have
So all
multiplied it
become
by minus 2 in my mind, I will not change. Okay. I will
Okay, sir.
keep this as 1, 2, and 4. But in my mind, I have already changed
yes,
this row,
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
now
sir.
what are these changed elements which are there in my mind? I will add it to this row. So what will I get? Minus 2 minus 2 is
Okay, sir.
0. Sorry, 2 and minus 2 is 0. 4
My
and minus 4 is 0. 8 and minus 8 is 0. And this row remains as it is. You can do this with any column or any row. I've done it with rows. You can do it with columns also. Understood? This is also the
yes,
Okay,
same
sir.
as saying,
Yes, sir.
this is also the same as saying, I multiply this by plus 2 and subtract it from this. Understood? Whether I multiply it by
yes, sir.
minus 2 and add
Okay,
it to
sir.
this, or I multiply it by plus 2 and subtract it from this. It is the same thing, right? So
Yes,
that
sir.
is what you need to
Okay, sir.
understand.